Hi, hi. Whoops. This isn't how we do it anymore, unfortunately. Hi, ho. Now we're reading a new chapter of the One Punch Man webcomic. I am so shocked and happy that we're getting regular updates of this again. I really was becoming skeptical that we ever would. I thought maybe one had just moved on from such projects, but no. The overall lore and world of the series is still being expanded from the source. This is the outer edge of what we know about the One Punch Man world, the things revealed in this comic. Now, in the last chapter, before we move on, somebody was like, you don't understand the significance of page 14 of the previous chapter. And I looked at it, I really tried to figure it out. Is it the fact that they're going to training site 3 and it's already all smashed up? Is it because that's where Saitama and Genos had their latest? Is that like the joke? Or is that, I don't get it. I'll admit it, I don't get it. But anyway, so Saitama going up against Lightspeed Flash. Lightspeed Flash challenging him for the right to be taken on as a disciple. And Saitama showing him the power of his unrefined technique, just kind of shoving his hand at him by means of an attack. Flash barely getting away. So the fight will continue in this chapter, I'm sure. You're pretending to be a simpleton. You're actually quite capable. I have to commend you for that bold and perceptive surprise attack, but that was your first and last chance. Same trick worked on me a second time. It's my turn. So he is preparing to attack, getting into some sort of martial arts pose. We know that he was trained in a ninja village in the remake, and it seems like most of the things added in the remake as new information has been kind of taken on as canonical and then propagated back to the webcomic where appropriate. So I assume that he has ninja skills in here as well. Oh, and Saitama getting his fist in there again. And here, Lightspeed Flash using the technique that Tomo-chan uses in Azumanga Daioh, where you take a hit and then you spin to deflect the power of the blow into rotational energy, and then it like doesn't work at all. But here he's going at a pretty fast clip, spinning around. I wonder if Saitama will use the trick that he used against Speed of Sound Sonic before, where he just did serious side hops and created like 20 after images of himself and completely overwhelmed him, even in this, his most prideful area of combat. Falling Leaves Barrage. Blue Tempest Fist. So he attacks from one side with like a million after images, slapping Saitama, and then slides in behind him and winds up a punch like Donkey Kong. Or no, I guess that's less of a wind-up thing. That's more just starting to get his fists flowing quick enough that it's creating these after images. I see what's going on. Like the Gum Gum Gatling. Windblade Kick. This we've seen Sonic do a very similar attack. Dragon Thrust Kick. Saitama clenching down his jaw in order to grab his foot and prevent further attacks. Insane. Doesn't he realize how outclassed he is by now? He throws his cape at him. Falling Moon Palm. Saitama said not a text bubble. Nice, good note. Thank you. That might have actually confused me. That's pretty good. I like Saitama just kind of like gently tossing the cape out of the way. What? What is this trick? Ooh, he made Saitama slide backwards. That's pretty good. That's pretty rare. Suiru did that once, of course, just in the remake, but it's not common that someone can actually make Saitama move outside of his own volition under any circumstances. So, bravo, I guess. Sweating already. Plus, you look wobbly. It's cold sweat and trembles of excitement as a martial artist. He's about to use his ultimate technique. For what little it'll do. Flashy fists. Whoa. Okay. I don't think this is gonna do much. Just now, why did I do that? I wanted to finish him with everything I've got. My move. It's I thought with Pat, I went a little overboard. And it's kind of tough in situations like this. Like, I was kind of comparing him to Suiru, and that both of them were actually able to make Saitama slide backwards with the force of their attack. But it's very hard to tell what power level we're actually supposed to be witnessing here, right? Because it's all the same to Saitama in the end. Like, outside of little things like sliding a bit. We don't really know. They're all just hitting for 0, so we're not really sure what they ought to be doing. And I don't know. It's like I want to think that Flashy Flash is actually really strong, like up there at dragon level in terms of threat. One of the stronger S-class. But it's like, is he? Or is this actually an attack on par with Sonic's? When Sonic lets loose similar barrages at Saitama. I don't know. I'm completely fine. He's totally fine. Switch to weapons. From here on, my teaching will attempt to simulate real battles. Remember this. I wish I bought a fly swatter or something. I like this shot of him sheathing his blade. It's like this kind of staticky background. I think that's pretty cool. And I think one's great strength that Murata has adopted really well is even in these sorts of situations, even in the long, prolonged Saitama just tanking attacks, feeling bored, feeling confused, waiting to just smack the guy once and end the fight, he still puts effort into making the other character look cool and not skimping out on all of the normal effects and staging and drama that would normally associate this with that would normally like come through in this sorts of fights. Yeah, he still looks cool here, you know? We know that he's just going to get one-hitted, but he can look cool before that. I can't find Master. Where did he go? Just incredible speeds. Is Master engaged in battle? Ah, yeah, I think this must be the training site they used before, right? And Genos is going to see that even other S-Class heroes, even highly regarded S-Class heroes, have the same humiliating results when going up against Saitama. Maybe, I guess, but he already knew that. He already would know exactly how this is playing out and what would happen. There's nothing to learn from this. Some cool textless shots. He's just running away. Wow. Wow, that's pretty funny. This is definitely shot or paneled in such a way that you think they're running towards each other, right? 100%, right? This is some deliberate subversion from one. He's just running away from him. The way Saitama runs is so funny to me, too. It's so, like, unrefined. Everybody else is doing crazy ninja runs or using, like, boosters or flying or whatever. And he's just, like, hustling along the ground. Tries to get around him with his coat. And then, betting it all on this highest speed flashy slash ever, I think he's just going to lose another sword. Saitama just bit the sword in half. Now, how can you possibly make your mouth and teeth stronger just from doing push-ups, sit-ups, and 10K running? Something is not right with this boy. Ah. It's an untranslated hiragana ah in my version of these scans. But whatever. Ah. It's just throwing all sorts of stuff at him and running away. This is what he's been reduced to. Take some shuriken. Take some little ninja knife things. I can't think of what they're called. Kunai, maybe. I like Saitama's hand as just this kind of like stiff, unfeeling instrument that he just sort of juts out at people when he fights. It's true. The Saitama has no refinement, no appreciation for martial arts whatsoever. There's been a theme that they're kind of hitting again and again from different angles, that each character sort of realizes, like, this guy has no idea what he's doing. And yet, I really hope that we will continue to have actually no repercussions for this whatsoever. That Saitama will never actually lose a fight because of this, of course. That he won't even be injured because of this. It won't even lead to a situation where things were resolved slower than they ought to have been, such that other people were hurt. It's just going to have no consequences. It just doesn't matter that he doesn't know what he's doing. Because if he ever got serious in this fight, it would be over like that. It's more that he just can't be bothered to make the effort. Here we go. Back into a corner. There isn't enough time for forbidden techniques. This looks like it's it. Death. Sorry to have interrupted your training session with this disciple applicant. It's been a monster relief. Oh boy, okay. So more monsters, less poor Lightspeed Flash getting splattered across a bunch of boulders. Please read the next page, at least the first points. Oh yes, I had heard from this from someone in my Discord channel. Murata, his father has passed away, so there's going to be, of course, a delay on the next manga chapter. Of course, the grieving process, I'm sure, and all sorts of logistical things that will occupy his time and occupy his heart. And making manga is something that really has to come from a place of passion. This a kind of fervent, inconsiderate passion where you just throw yourself away from the rest of the world and work on your manga. And I think that's something beautiful, but it's not something that is absolute. It isn't something that is actually the highest priority in your life, given all the other things that can happen. And when something like this happens, it's only right to take a step away. So I'm glad to see that the manga will be delayed. Even though the news is unfortunate, it's clear to me that this means Murata is working through it, and that he'll become an even stronger person because of it. So, it's sad news, but we're all pulling for him. All we can do is support him when he returns. And I'm sure we will, because he's a really brilliant artist. Anyways, updated the translation of webcomic chapter 110. Alright. I'm not going to bother checking that out on this video, but maybe I will later. One recently retweeted a short One Punch Man comic. I've attached the translation version in the following pages in case you guys want to read it. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's check that out. Incinerate. Genos is blowing the heck up of a lot of stuff, as he is wont to do. What's wrong, Genos? That monster's already toast. Fighting with this one, I couldn't watch episode 17 live. I'm gonna burn him so bad he will never recover. Did you not record it? Did. He just wanted to watch it live. It's interesting that they refer to it as episode 17, meaning that one is carrying on the numbering from season 1 of One Punch Man, I guess? So, I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'm actually quite enjoying the anime. A friend of mine told me something that kind of blew my mind and made me appreciate it in a new light. That because the production quality is dropped, because there are so many cost-saving things that you can see in it, isn't it a lot closer to classic shonen anime adaptations in that regard? Doesn't it kind of feel like watching Dragon Ball Z again back in the day? And once I realized that, once I kind of allowed that nostalgia to flow through me, I was like, oh, I'm actually really enjoying this again. And it's just such a great story. I could see this story adapted in another 20 mediums before I get bored of it. So I'm always gonna battery level critical. I'm gonna charge my mouse again. I'm always going to enjoy it, even though the production, of course, has taken a pretty big step down. Okay, that's all for the webcomic. we will look forward to more chapters coming out whenever, and then of course eventually the return of the remake as well. All right, bye bye.